No one in the village believed Arab would ever leave. The village sat at the edge of a wide, dusty plain, where the earth cracked in summer and turned to mud in the monsoon. Most people were born there, worked there, and were buried there. Dreams, like rain, came rarely, and when they did, they disappeared quickly into the ground. Arab was 22 and worked at a small repair shop, fixing broken radios, fans, and sometimes phones that were already too old to save. Each morning, he opened the rusted shutter, swept the dust from the floor, and waited for customers who complained more than they paid. At night, he climbed to the roof of his house and stared at the distant mountain that rose on the horizon, blue and quiet, like a promise no one had kept. That mountain haunted him. When Arab was a child, his father used to tell him, "That mountain teaches patience. It stands there, unmoving, while storms come and go." His father had dreamed of becoming a teacher, but life had other plans. Illness took him early, leaving Arab with responsibilities far heavier than his age. After his father's death, people often told Arab, "Be realistic. Life is hard. Accept it." And for years, he did. But something inside him refused to settle. One evening, as he repaired a radio that crackled with static, he heard a voice cut through the noise. It was a speech, old, scratched, barely clear, but the words struck him sharply. "You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your discipline." Arab froze. He replayed the line again and again. Discipline. Not luck. Not talent. Discipline. That night, he didn't climb to the roof. Instead, he sat at his small wooden table and wrote on a torn page. 1 hour a day. No excuses. He didn't know exactly what he would do for that hour, only that it had to move him forward. The next morning, before opening the shop, Arab woke up early and began studying basic electronics from free notes he found online. The internet was slow, electricity unreliable, and his phone old, but the hour passed quickly. The next day, he did it again. And again. At first, nothing changed. Customers still complained. Money remained tight. Friends laughed when they saw him studying. "What's the point?" they asked. "People like us don't get ahead." Some days, Arab believed them. 1 week, then another passed. He missed a day when the power went out. Then 2. Soon, the habit began to slip. The mountain on the horizon looked farther away than ever. One evening, exhausted and frustrated, Arab climbed to the roof again. The mountain stood there, silent. For years, he whispered, "I've looked at you and waited for courage. But you never gave it." The wind moved softly, brushing his face. For the first time, Arab understood something clearly. The mountain had never promised courage. It had only promised resistance. He went downstairs and rewrote his note. 1 hour a day, even when I fail. The change was small, but powerful. When he missed a day, he didn't quit. When he felt slow, he continued. He stopped waiting for motivation and relied on routine instead. Months passed. Arab became better, quietly, steadily. He started fixing devices others couldn't. People from nearby areas came to his shop. One afternoon, a schoolteacher brought in a laptop that no one else could repair. Arab worked on it all night and succeeded. The teacher looked at him and said, "You have skill. Have you ever thought of studying further?" That question stayed with Arab longer than any insult ever had. He applied for an online certification program using a borrowed computer. The fee was high, but he saved every coin, refusing small comforts. When he was accepted, fear crept in. What if I fail? But by now, Arab had learned something important. Fear didn't disappear with progress, it simply changed shape. He studied before dawn and after midnight. Some lessons felt impossible. Sometimes his mind felt too tired to absorb another word. On those days, he remembered the mountain, how it stood through storms without moving. Slowly, doors began to open. Arab started freelancing online, repairing circuit designs and giving basic consultations. His first payment was small, but when the message arrived, "Payment received," his hands trembled. Not because of the money. Because it was proof. A year later, Arab stood on a bus for the first time, leaving the village behind. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. But he was no longer trapped by the idea that his future had already been decided. Before leaving, he climbed to the roof one last time. The mountain was still there, unchanged. He smiled. "You were never the goal," he said softly. "You were the reminder." Years later, Arab would return to the village, not as someone who escaped it, but as someone who expanded beyond it. He helped repair the school's equipment, mentored young students, and told them one simple truth. You don't need perfect conditions. You need consistency. The mountain still stands on the horizon, quiet and patient. And every day, somewhere, someone looks at it, not waiting for motivation, but choosing to move anyway. Because the real journey doesn't begin when life becomes easy. It begins the moment you decide not to stop.